Today I'm going to show you guys what to eat before your very first fast to make it more easier, more powerful, and less painful. Before you start fasting, you need to hear this. I know you may be excited and a little desperate to get the results that you want to see, but if you skip this first step, you're setting yourself up for potential failure. A lot of people jump into fasting without changing their diet first. And then they wonder why they feel like garbage for so long. I'm talking about headaches, mood swings, just plain being grumpy and irritable all throughout your day. But let me tell you the truth. It's not fasting that failed you. It's the fuel source that you started with. If you're still eating high carb, ultra processed foods, then that means that your body is most definitely running on glucose. And when you take that away without warning, you send your body and your mind into utter chaos. So what should you eat before you fast? There's two ways that you can prep your body before a fast, and that's either low carb or keto. Low carb means basically eating under, say, 100 carbs per day. Eating 100 or less than 100 carbs per day is very flexible, and obviously it's not as strict as, say, keto, where keto is you're eating under about 20 carbs a day. Now, if you don't know what carbs are stuff like your vegetables, your candies, cookies, sweets, beans, rice, stuff like that. Now with keto takes it a step further than just low carb. So keto is more, you want to do less carbs, absolutely no processed food. So basically, if you buy it in a package, you probably shouldn't eat it. Now, you always have to pay attention to whatever the ingredients are in the package. Real food, things that you buy on the outside of the grocery store, like your vegetables, your produce, meats, vegetables, so on, those are considered real food. If it's in a package and it has a million ingredients on keto, you definitely want to ditch that. Both of these ways of eating are so much better than the SAD, or standard American diet, because if you need to lower your insulin levels, which people like me, if you're a heavy-set woman, you definitely want, that means you've got high insulin levels and you want to bring those insulin levels down. Now, I did do another video. Take a look at that. I'll link it above somewhere, and make sure you guys check out that video so that you understand exactly what insulin is and what types of food you should be eating to lower that insulin. Now, I want you to pay attention. So this part is very important. Before a fast, you don't have to go full-blown keto, okay? It's not for the faint at heart. I'm going to be honest with you. I started out keto many, many years ago, and it was extremely hard for me. I don't even want to say extremely hard. It's just you had to be strict with what you ate because, like I said before, it can't be anything that's processed. So you want to eat only real food. So you're sticking to eggs, fish, veggies, chicken, beef, olive oils, no seed oils, nothing like that. You want real ingredients. Now, as I said, if you do pick, you have to pick one between keto or low carb. Low carb is always, for me personally, is the better way to go because it's a little bit less restrictive. But if you eat this way before you start your first fast, you won't be in, your body won't be in chaos, you know. Like I said before, some people get headaches and the mood swings and just feel like they're on a complete crash. And that typically happens when you've been eating that standard American diet or SAD diet. You have to eat real food. That is the absolute name of the game. Eat real food before you attempt your very first fast. So what should your plate look like? Here's what I recommend eating for, just say, about 3 to 5 days. If you can do 7 days before your very first fast. So like I said before, you want to fill your plate with, say, eggs, fatty cuts of meat, like marbling in the steak, like a ribeye, New York strip. If you can't go that fatty, London broil is great. You want your chicken, your salmon. If you can't do salmon, you can do sardines, you can do tuna. You just want to make so that you have those types of meats. Any real meat doesn't have any carbohydrates in it. Like, for instance, so last night I ate, I think it was a Farmer John sausage, and it was a beef sausage. And I'm thinking like, okay, it's a sausage. I'm just going to eat a couple sausages because I need the protein. I need some fat, right? After I started cooking, I said, wait a minute, let me look on the back of the ingredients. And lo and behold, I did. I didn't even necessarily look in the ingredients. I didn't have to, because I saw right there, plain as day, that it had 4 grams of carbs in it. Therefore, you know automatically that meat was processed. It's not real meat. And I'm not saying that you can never eat that. I'm just saying you definitely want to limit it. However, if that's all you have, then that's what you go with. You know, you got to gauge that for yourself, as best as you can, or nothing at all. So just do the best you can with it. So on your plate, on top of the real meats, you should also have leafy greens, like you could do mustards, turnips, collards, spinach, kale, arugula, iceberg lettuce. So the third macro that you should have on your plate, you need to have natural fats. So like I've said before in previous videos, butter, real butter, not margarine, real butter counts as natural fats. Extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, MCT oil, all of those things are natural fats. Avocado is a great source of natural fat. Now, outside of what's actually on your plate, the next thing is what to drink. You want to drink plain water, coffee, plain, no creamers, no sugar. Green tea is fine as well. Those are things that you can drink. That's for keto. Now, low carb, depending on how your body handles it, which I'll discuss in a different video, some people do occasionally drink sugar-free sodas. For me, I don't really use it all that much, but I have been known to, if I feel like, oh no, I'm not going to make it. Again, it's one of those things you have to gauge for yourself. So it's either you do it and you're okay with it and your body handles it, or you say, no, I want to stick it out and just drink water and coffee and green tea. Either way, it's fine, depending on you, your body, and what the reasons of why you're fasting. Okay, so now that we've gone over the things that you can have, let's talk about the things you can't have, okay? Because that's very important. No breads, no cereals, no sugars, your chips, your cookies, your crackers. You don't want any of that. You just really want to dedicate yourself to eating real food, okay? Absolutely real food. The basic rule of thumb is, especially if you're doing low carb, if you go to pull something off the shelf to buy it in the grocery store, take a look at those ingredients. And you really have to be careful because there's a lot of packaged items that'll say low carb, or it could say keto, or I don't know, non-fat or something like that. And those are just basically gimmicks because they'll put it on the front of the box, but you got to really look at the back of the box to look at the ingredients as well as the overall carb count. Now, mind you, all of these things are things that you should be doing before you start a fast if you want to be successful. It doesn't mean that you can never eat any of those things that I mentioned ever again. This is just your initial phase to get that insulin levels down so that when you go into a fast, you won't be a monster. You won't be hungry. You shouldn't get headaches or anything like that. You should be able to coast through it. And that's why I said, do this for about 3 to 5 days a week, if possible, especially if you know that you've been eating that standard American diet for some time, which most of us have. You definitely want to keep these tips in mind. Okay, so the next thing is, how do you know if you're ready for your first fast? You're going to know if you're ready for a first fast if you can go, say, 12 hours without eating, even 10 hours without even eating. So say you went to bed, you stopped eating at 7 p.m. and you don't eat until 7 a.m. That's been 12 hours. If you don't feel ravished and feel like you're just going to bite somebody's head off and you just got to eat right away, then that's one of the signs that you're going to know that you're ready to attempt your very first fast. And truth be told, if you made it 12 hours, you definitely know you're going to be okay, because in reality, all you really did is eat dinner at 7 and probably stay up, hopefully, another 2 to 4 hours or so after, and then go to sleep. So most of us don't eat while we're sleeping. So, that's always a good deal. That right there will prime your body and you'll be ready. You shouldn't have any, issues. So remember, this is the step that nobody talks about before you attempt your first fast. But trust me, it makes all the difference in your success. It's important to remember that fasting doesn't start with just cutting off your food supply. It starts with fueling your body with the correct food first. So now that you know how to begin to prep for your very first fast, stay tuned for the next video in this series. If this video helped you at all, let me know. Hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and feel free to comment in the comment section.